Okay, so I was just moving to go up my little sky bridge there and build my little sky bridge over to where the new factory is so that it's all perfectly lined up with the grid as my OCD demands. And you'll probably notice there's something a little weird going on here. The fuck? What? What's going on here? Am I crouched? Okay, I was crouched. Okay. I have no idea how that happened. Okay. Okay. Okay, so I was working on the aluminum factory and I had a really interesting idea that I wanted to test to see if this worked. So basically what the idea here is that pumps that are unpowered reset the head lift to 0. But they still allow water through in theory, and I wanted to test that out, see what happens if I do this. So I have two sides, a control and one with the pump that with a slightly elevated pipe, and I wanted to see what happens. So this one to the control, it's completely full. How about the unpowered pipe? Well, it's not completely full, but it's pretty close to full. It's bouncing between completely full and not completely full. So this kind of works, but there is still a little bit head lift. It's not completely 0. If it was completely 0, this pipe should be almost empty, not completely empty, because the top of this is still above the bottom of that. So maybe around 50% is what I would have expected to see, but that's clearly not the case. I feel confident enough in the premise of this that maybe we could take this up a notch here. You know, we're gonna do this straight on. I don't know why I curved it like that. Okay. Okay, so we have this gradual step up here. How will this look? Nothing has made it to this one. Okay. So, interesting results. So, 1, 2. Okay. Still nothing here? Tiny amounts have made it up there. This is about 50%. Oh. Okay. So... it's up there, but not quite. Not quite full. So, okay, next question. What happens... Ooh, come on. Select the thing. Pipe network. Just flush the pipe network. Really empty it. Alright. So... what happens if we put a valve here? So water can only go one way, it can't go back. It's completely empty, right? Yep. Okay. Ooh. Okay, so now this should not completely fill up. Yeah, wait. I feel like this should settle at some point. It did, it settled on completely full, so... Already my plan here is looking a bit on the shaky side. It's interesting that shows it as completely full and then it drains. This one starts at half full, which is interesting. But yeah, okay, so the valve does not stop it from building up, so my whole plan here is probably not gonna work. What I was kind of thinking is, since some of the water has to come back in the scrap making process, or I have to do something with the water, I was thinking maybe I could use an unpowered pump to limit the maximum amount of water that could come into a pipe. But as that the valve still lets the pipe on the other side fill up completely, that's not gonna work for me. I was kind of hoping that the valve would have it stop at like some point that wasn't completely full. You know, like it wouldn't have more water than the pipe preceding it, or be at a higher level than the pipe preceding it, but that's apparently not the thing, not the case. Okay, so I keep encountering spicy rocks and having to wait to heal up before I can continue. So I figured it's time to unlock the inhalers here. Oh, I need more. Rotor. There we are. Okay, so megafauna, rotor, or protein inhaler.
Research completed. The protein inhaler can restore health in the eventuality that you have been carelessly damaging fix-it property.
Alright, what does it take to unlock this? I just had a little bit of a brain fart. Anyway, I'll have to... Well, no. So, I know I've seen some DNA capsules. Okay, no, that would only be if it has no idea what to do with it. So we should have DNA capsules somewhere around here. Here we go. That'll do. So what does it take to unlock this last one again? So crystal and connector.
Hostile organisms added to the object scanner. Note, it cannot detect the species, only aggression. There are many creatures that dislike you, Pioneer, but I am your true friend.
Alright, so now that's completed. Let's see, I should be able to also complete these ones.
Vitamin inhaler recipe unlocked. Not only does it restore your health, it also acts as a preventative supplement against scurvy and other shortage-induced conditions. Unfortunately, it does not improve aesthetics, but Pioneer helmets are built to withstand extreme circumstances.
Alrighty then.
Therapeutic inhaler recipe unlocked. It smells like fried breakfast-induced cardiac arrest, but surprisingly, it restores you to full health.
Nice, okay, like there was another one? There was indeed.
Nutritional inhaler recipe unlocked. Using this inhaler will restore health, and also gives your skin a radiant glow that is connected to well-being and probably not radioactivity.
That's important that it's not radioactive. Probably should unlock that. I don't have any more mycelia. Let me go harvest some. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't worry about this. Oh, I was expecting some sort of animation. Oh well. Okay. I have no idea how long I've been at this for. I think I got a 14-hour warning a short while ago. Although as to how many hours ago that was, I'm not entirely sure. I might get another warning while I'm recording this. So I think I've pretty much finished building out the aluminum ingot part of the factory. So once I have tier 6 belts available to me, this thing will be able to output, what is the number? So it's times by 4,800 aluminum ingots per minute. So it's a good amount. Yep. My brain's fried. Anyway, I broke this down into blueprints so that I could easily just replicate everything here and there. So each one of these will represent a full tier 6 belt out. I have 4 pure bauxite nodes and 1 normal bauxite node. Going to... Well, I've got 4 bauxite nodes, 1 bauxite node to each lane, and plus a normal bauxite node that is shared between the ones in the very back, because it just requires just a little bit more than than a single pure can output. Yep. Down here is where kind of the resources come in. I have the coal going on a 3 to 4 balancer because I need slightly more than 6 normal nodes, so I just kind of said F it. I'm going to use 3 pure nodes because I had like 3 pure nodes around this area here. There's apparently another 3 pure coal nodes somewhere up here that are like right next to one another, so it might be good to save that for something. So for the slightly more distributed ones, I can switch it over to normal ones later on if need be. Actually, you know what? Oh, this is... Here, I should probably just flip the switch and start the machine. So there's no reason for it to not be running while I'm just sitting here talking. So, again, I have a nice control area. This one's 2,000 units of power. Okay, we currently have that to spare. There we go. So that shouldn't cause any issues. I have a priority master switch going to the entire thing. Set it up so it's a slightly higher priority than the iron copper ion. I just realized I spelled that wrong. Just simply because I'm kind of dependent on the power going to the facility here for flight, and I don't want to fall out of the air all of a sudden. I want to avoid that. Alright. So, basically, how this works is we got the sloppy aluminum recipe here, which is 200 bauxite, 200 water, outputs 240 alumina solution, which will come here, mix with coal to create aluminum scrap and water. The water output will come over here. I have a fluid buffer, just so that way we prevent backups. Yes. And I have a valve going to each one of these machines from the water pumps down there. I have a line, full 600 line to each one, which they actually require slightly less than that. Each machine is getting 80 units from the pumps per minute, which is more than enough to kickstart it, and will supply what is needed, because it requires 200 per minute. The waste of this recipe is 120, which has a shortfall of 80. So yes, that should be good. Now, when the machines back up, which they inevitably will, that'll cause kind of this area to fill up, and it won't be able to take the waste. But I have this fluid buffer here to kind of fix that, deal with that. Yes, so it's coal. So then the scrap will come out here, go onto these smelters here, which I'm using the pure aluminum ingot recipe, so that's for every 2 aluminum scrap in, you get 1 aluminum ingot out. It's apparently not extracting. What's going on here? What? Why is this backed up? This shouldn't be backed up. Why is it only outputting to a single thing here? Okay, we got aluminum ingots in that. But we don't in that for some reason. Got aluminum ingots here. There we go. Okay. That was the issue. So, I once again have a circuit breaker for each line so I can turn them on or off. So I have this 4-to-4 load balancer here, so that way I can, if I'm not running all 4, I still get a balanced load to each belt. So down here I have smart splitters, so that way I can set up a priority thing. I'm planning to pull off a line from these to have it go to other floors to make the alclad aluminum sheets and the aluminum cases, I think they're called. Currently, I have it going down to the train here, loading, filling up these storage buffers, the triple buffer. Now, I don't actually remember if the aluminum ingots are actually used for anything outside of like a few aluminum-based recipes. But whatever, I figure I'll have just a train offering the aluminum ingots just in case. It's not really much of an issue to do it that way. Yes, see the for the train, I just created a roundabout here. This was kind of a tight space, and I might want to like build like another factory over there at some point or in the near vicinity, because we got the ports there. So probably want to connect to this, and just having a roundabout there is kind of nice for that. Let's come over to the water tower. You can see I have probably way more water pumps than I actually need. I don't think it requires full pipe, but whatever. I got the space for it, so I just made full pipe there. Or 4 full pipes. Gonna need to bring in some copper. so that I can build a floor dedicated to making the alclad aluminum sheets, which I need for the next tier up of belts. Let's see. It's probably full by now, yeah, so I can just turn this off. Oh, it was already off. Oh, okay. If you look down here, you can kind of see that I have the train going down there. One of them actually enters in kind of a cave thing. The other one just kind of goes along the edge of a cliff. And I kind of had this epiphany that rather than trying to have two branching off tracks from this that have to bridge over this track, why not just put this track on an overpass and then run these two tracks underneath of it? And that works out quite well. I think that's not supposed to be there. Huh. The blueprint's probably wrong. As you can see, I updated the tower top blueprint here. I thought it looked nicer on the wireframe rather than these concrete blocks. And I put a little catwalk here at the very top of the ladder, so if I climb up here on this ladder, I can climb up and be on this nice catwalk, run around on the catwalk. No real purpose for it, just thought it looked nice. I do believe that's pretty much everything. Oh yeah, the spicy rocks were getting a little too much for me to actually deal with. So I ended up creating, using some of my precious aluminum cases to make iodine filters so I could work around the spicy rocks without dying. Okay, so I left this running while I slept. And exactly what I had feared would happen did happen. So you can see there's only one that's actually working right now. I believe it's the same with each line. Oh well, actually this one looks like it's got multiple working. That's interesting. I wonder why that is. This one has only one working. How did this one dodge the fate of the others? So what's happening is exactly what I'd kind of feared would happen. I was hoping that these buffers would mitigate it somewhat. But no, all the buffers are full. They can't unload the water into the thing. So they can't produce any more aluminum scrap. Oh well, to try to experiment with things and try to mitigate things, I put a pump on the first one, an unpowered one, to reset the head lift. Oh, I've got everything running to awesome sinks for the moment. I don't know how exactly this is going to affect things. Doesn't really seem to be draining this pipe over here like I would expect it to. And looks like we're already getting some buildup here. I went through and cleared out these tanks, so this might not solve the issue. What exactly is going on with my system here? I had one work kind of the way I'd imagined it to, and the rest just aren't. Alright, I'm gonna have to debug this off camera. Okay, I have now been at this for a few hours, and I think the way head lift and pipes work is a lot simpler than I had initially thought. Because the pump placed here will completely fill up the pipe, whereas the pump placed here will not put anything in it whatsoever. So Not entirely sure. This has actually kind of been running for a few minutes. As you can see, there's absolutely nothing in there. But if I connect up this, that, and there we are. It's almost completely full. It's pretty close to full. It's not quite full, but it's pretty close. It's close enough to kind of, I think, get my point across. Like, just that teeny little difference in height was able to do that, which means that the pipes, I think this means that the pipes are not actually cylindrical. Actually, you know what? Kind of just realized this one raises up a little bit. I wonder if that's having an effect. 7. Okay. Do that. There we go. Now it doesn't have any like raised bits. Get rid of this. Get rid of this pipe, so that way I can flush it without accidentally flushing everything. Okay. And now, hook that up again. Alright, this hits 50%, and that does not allow anything through. Okay. Maybe this isn't a real fair comparison. Maybe I need to do the exact same thing here, just to eliminate variables. Because it's possible this connector is having some sort of effect on it. The fact that it's not a singular pipe could be having an effect on the results here. Connect this. Oh, well. That's interesting. Isn't letting water through at all now. This has water in it, right? Yep, that's full of water. That's full of water. I think my pump may have just been bugged. So it's not letting anything through now. Okay. I'm going to do this. Raise this slightly up to where it was before. Drain this completely. Okay. There it goes. Interesting. So this may actually be a result of this connector here. And the fact that they're two separate pipe segments. Interesting. Okay. So given that, we shall raise this up a full meter. This is the kind of shit I've been doing for the past couple of hours. Okay, so... that's full. That is completely empty. That's full. That's empty. I don't think this is going to be my solution. It seems a little buggy. Alright, well, I'm letting my water experiments run. I figure I'll start delivering some copper to create some the aluminum sheets, the alclad aluminum sheets. And here is my first delivery. I'm gonna get a nice front row seat while I watch this. Watching the trains unload and load is kind of cool in this game. And I'm gonna stick with this for a little while. Okay. I figured I'd also record the loading up of the train. So again, the animation here is quite nice and pretty fun to watch. It also looks like it's already completely replenished the copper ingots that were transferred previously, which is kind of interesting, I think. It shows that this is indeed sufficient copper ingot production. Alright, so I just made a rather interesting discovery. Apparently, if I press 1 on the keyboard here, it does nothing because I don't have the right window selected. It switches out what I am using to fly. Which, as you can probably imagine, is a little bit of an issue when I'm in the air. Good thing to know for the future, but I was lucky that I was here and not like just a little bit over this way or something like that. Wasn't a little bit higher up when I made that discovery. Okay, so I think I've finally got the solution to my aluminum issues. So, basically what I did was I removed all the valves, the one-way valves, letting the water go into the refineries, added this huge industrial fluid buffer, and put a pipe, or a pump, on the same level as the entry line here. So, looking at the wiki, pumps unpowered apparently give actually 2 meters of headroom. Not entirely sure how that works, but alright. So, the fluid that comes in through here gets reset to 2, which does not push it up, seems to push it up to about 400 meters in the industrial water, or in the industrial fluid buffer when it's not running, which is perfect because the water being pushed out of the back end refineries here has a head lift of 10. So this having a head lift of 2 will only push this up to about 400 cubic meters, or yeah, that is cubic meters. Okay, only to about 400 cubic meters. which leaves plenty of space for the output of those to come in, and it will drain out that before it drains out what's being provided by this. Which is perfect. I've had this actually running for a little while, both completely clogged up and not, so it's pretty good. I've also went ahead and made the modification on all the rows, and they are all running quite nicely. Which is very, very nice. These ones back here have lower volumes of water in their little buffer tank here because obviously they're not getting as much copper, or not copper, whatever this stuff is. What do you call it? Bauxite. That's what it was called. So while that was running, to test it out, make sure everything there is working, I went ahead and built the next layer up to create alclad aluminum sheets. Now, oh dear, that's not good. It's not supposed to be backed up like that. Alright, so you'll notice that only this row actually has power and the other ones are off. That is because we're not generating enough power to actually run all of them. I tried turning them on and everything just kind of came to a halt. Like, right now the iron/copper factory off in the distance there is currently off to provide me the power that I need to run just this. There's no way this... Okay. Indeed. They aren't full. I just never hooked this part up. So I just need to do that. As you can see, I'm using the Mark V stuff now. Now that I have access to aluminum. Aluminum. Until I overclock the actual miners and get them up to Mark III, there's no real point in upgrading those belts, so I'll leave those unupgraded for the time being. Let's see here. In case you're wondering how I do this, from like these things, I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then from there I go 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because that ends there, I'll do that. 6, 7. One, two. Wait, you end there, right? Don't need to do that one. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so that should be good. Alright, so for now I just have this going to a train. Well, a train station. I'm not entirely I think this actually is used for other things. So I'll want to ship it out to other things, maybe. I recall using that a lot, but that might have just been so that I could make more belts in the pre-release, in my pre-release game. There we go. Now, because even though I only have one row at the very top powered, all 4 belts are getting materials because I have a load balancer in the mix. It's kind of what I'm just going to do. I'm going to put load balancers pretty much everywhere that I can, just to make sure that I don't have some things just not getting resources at all. Because, like, I'd rather a little bit is going to each of the train storage than all to one, and not completely filling up the train. Yes, okay. I made this as kind of a temporary thing. It's not really needed anymore. This was just to make sure that I had enough alclad aluminum sheets to make all the belts that I needed. Which, as you can probably tell, did a pretty darn good job making stuff for me. Just toss that in there. Awesome. Okay. Now, next I need to focus on power generation because we don't have power. Just barely enough power to run all the aluminum ingot production in this one row. I have enough for the other 3 rows, and the copper thing is currently off. I might be able to turn the copper factory back on again. But I need power. Okay, so I just came up with this and wanted to share it. So before I had a 4x4 slitter here. And, well, I was looking around the entire thing trying to figure out where I could hook up a dimensional depot properly without really affecting the train too much, because if I, like, stuck it on, like, just one of the lines going to it, then it would just pull from that one line and cause a little bit of an imbalance, which ultimately would not make much of a difference, but it was bugging me. So I wanted a way to be able to pull from all the lines equally. And I came up with this idea. This is my 4 to 5 load balance, but does something a little weird. So the 5th output is actually up here, one level above everything, and you'll notice there's this pillar here that is part of the blueprint. I went ahead and just made this whole thing a blueprint. It's all there, so I can use this again in the future. And what that is for is I can come put my dimensional depot thing, plunk it down right on top, and ooh. I don't have to build like a separate little thing to hold it or anything like that. I can just stick it right in there. I could actually make it part of the blueprint itself, but I kind of want it to be separate, just a thing that I add onto it, because I might actually want to use that 5th output for something else in the future. I don't know. I want to leave that available to me.